Welcome everybody to episode 4 of the Dragon Reviewed. Today we're going to be reviewing episode 6 of The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. As always, my name is Cam Clark. I'm here with Christine Malone and Kyle Malone, who will be joining me on this journey as we explore season 1 of The Wheel of Time. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, Cam. How about yourself?
Doing all right.
Not too bad, not too bad. I'll just quickly go over our spoiler policy for this before pass on to Kyle to do some housekeeping stuff, and then we'll just be getting into the views of Christine and Kyle right away. Spoiler policy is we are not spoiling the books here. We will be covering spoilers up to and including episode 6 of The Wheel of Time. I'm a book reader. These guys are not. They don't want me to spoil it, and that goes the same for you guys that are watching this as well. If anyone does fire in with any comments, which we absolutely appreciate, just remember to keep them book spoiler free for my two co-hosts here. All right.
Yeah, keep us ignorant.
Yeah.
For now. Yeah.
That kind of spoils the fun. There is one little point I'm going to touch on which might be considered a spoiler today, and I've got non-story reasons for doing it, but we'll see where we get to when we get to that point. Kyle, let us know about all the good stuff that people can find on the Genreverse podcast network, etc.
Sure thing. So guys, please take time, make sure you subscribe to the LRM YouTube channel if you're watching us on there right now. Thank you very much for doing that. Keep an eye out. We're going to be launching the Genreverse version of the Genreverse YouTube version of our podcast network, where you guys will be able to get all these things without all the interviews sending off notifications to you guys, and the people in for interviews won't have to worry about all the notifications for the geeky podcasts and stuff. So keep your eyes out. That's coming soon. And then, of course, subscribe to the Genreverse or follow Genreverse Podcast Network on any app that you get your podcast from, Spotify, Google, Apple, whatever. And then, social media information down below at LRM_exclusive and at the Genreverse on Twitter. And we're sponsored by Grow Generation, and they'll have an ad somewhere towards the middle of the show.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to go straight back to you, Kyle, again this week, because it's your turn to go first this week. Christine went first last week. So what are your thoughts on episode 6? Give us your grade as well at the end of it.
It was a really fun, good episode. You get a lot of drama again. I don't want to say it kind of messes with pacing at all, because I'm guessing these last 2 episodes, eight of them, right?
Correct, yes. So there's 2 more to go, 7 and 8.
So I'm guessing since we got 2 kind of slower episodes, that the next 2 will probably have some more actiony moments in them. I love getting to see some of the politics of the White Tower. You see some of the extra colors. There was like a yellow, a gray, and their own white, which I'm guessing is separate from the white cloaks.
You've got, overall, you saw them all here, and I was quite glad they didn't cut any from the books. So you've got, obviously, the red, the blue, and the green we've seen already. You've got the yellow, you've got the white, you've got the grey, and you've got brown as well.
Brown, yeah. So that was neat. You get a touch of history of the current Amerlin seat.
Amerlin seat. Yep.
Amerlin seat. So you get to see a little bit of back history of her, and which was interesting. Christine and I were kind of wondering who it was we were being introduced to at the start and before the big reveal. I dug the stuff with the 5. Hey, good on Kyle and the parasite call and talking about objects and things like that. So that was pretty exciting. Seeing that there's more going on, especially when you get with Moraine. And what did they call the Amerlin seat? Like,
what's her name?
Swan.
Swan.
Okay.
Swan.
Yeah, there you go. It's interesting how they did that. I don't know anything about the books on relationships or anything, but you know, it's interesting that they're so aware of how all of the politics are, that even though they told us what they want to do, they want to go stop the dark one now, versus let them let the dark one taint the dragon, or get their way, burn the world down, or whatever. But they don't really explain their politics so much. Like you learn the blues are the spies, the information gatherers, if you will. So there's you automatically guess that these two have the potential to be not good, not bad, self-interest. So I'm still kind of waiting to see if we get more description on what Moraine and the Seat actually want to do with the Dark One being destroyed, or if that's literally it. Like I don't know. I know there's divides amongst who likes the idea of men being equal, who doesn't. And it's just interesting how they're starting to put some of that stuff in there. Trying to think of what else. The ending ending bit with Matt deciding to stay behind. Guessing that might be connected to the dagger, because she says that he had it on him for a while. I'm guessing it'll be like a withdrawal type deal.
I wonder if it's just worth talking about it at this point, because this also is affected by real world stuff. All right. So from what I understand, episode 1 to 6 were filmed before the COVID outbreak, and 7 and 8 were filmed after that. And Barney Harris didn't come back for whatever reason.
The recast.
So it looks as if, I think originally he's supposed to go, and you can kind of tell that they've reshot it and sort of photoshopped him in. So the rest of them have reshot the scene shouting Matt to kind of deliberately leave him behind, because basically they couldn't have carried on without the character, it looks like, at that point. We know that since then, Matt's character has been recast for season 2. Donald Flynn is going to be playing Matt. So the best guess amongst the kind of fans at the moment and everything like that is the last that you'll see of Barney Harris this season, that we won't sort of see his story until we meet him again in season 2. So, you know, probably kind of spoils a few things knowing that, but it's kind of, I think you need to know the circumstances behind that as to why he's not there in the last couple of episodes,
Yeah, and maybe they'll use that withdrawal symptoms type thing that I was discussing as a theory of why he stayed behind, when I didn't know that they didn't. But maybe they'll use that to help the transition. When they showed up to the thing, I was like, it's going to be a portal, and sure enough, that ended up being that. It was a good episode. I would say overall a solid B plus episode. Again, it's a little slower, but I appreciate all of that. I guess some of the drama was a little drawn out. And then we found out at least one thing the picture can do, which is help transport Moraine over to her lover's bedroom.
So
or at least
what we think is there's something called in this universe called, you get two items called Angreal and Terangreal, right? And Angreal is something that amplifies the power within a user. A Terangreal is something, a device that's been made out of an object that can work independently. Some of them require a channel to use, some of them anyone could use, but they're made with the one power. My best guess is that this is a Terangreal that they have discovered, which together, can transport both people to a separate location, because it seems as if where they met up was outside somewhere the tower. Else. More like where Swan grew up. It looks almost like that kind of fishing hut type thing. So, that's my... It's not explicitly that's it, but that would be my best guess based on the book lore as to what that was and why it was used that way. Interesting, I never saw that coming myself. I must have thought that I didn't think they would do that.
Yeah, so overall, solid B plus episode. Don't know all of everyone's intentions, but like I said, you're starting to see a lot of chess pieces put on the board in a clearer picture, and I'm guessing... Well, I'll let you go to Christine and we'll talk questions later.
Sure, okay. No worries. Christine, anything you want to add to that? Disagree with? Anything?
Well, he had just mentioned chess pieces, and it seems like Moraine is really good at chess. She's trying to be, some things got slipped out, but she doesn't tell like all the people, like the five, where everyone is at, to try to keep them safe. Like she's got good intentions with that, because they're probably going to try to find each other, which would leave them vulnerable walking around the city.
And I think there's also the chance that that they all just decide to leave if she gets them all together. So she kind of wants to, I think, do it at her pace, and make sure it's on her terms.
Yeah. So it's like maybe multiple things, but yeah, like Kyle being right about the parasite thing. Like normally when he says something, I'm just like, probably.
Not always on things that I'm completely unknowing of, like a series, but
you called it. Yeah,
it was good. Mm-hmm. It's good because it's not necessarily one you see in fantasy.
Yeah,
that much that I think of. You can think of cursed objects being a burden, like in Lord of the Rings, but it in of itself is not evil. It's that corruption aspect, the halfling aspect of hobbits, yada yada. And I just, it seemed like a real possibility. But seeing the thing go in his mouth, it wasn't quite like the stuff, but yeah, I dug it. Yay me.
Yeah. Anyway, and they had the warning when they were there, don't touch or don't eat anything from here, and you'd think that would carry on of maybe you shouldn't touch anything either. So Matt's kind of an idiot. So yeah, like just Maureen trying to get all the pieces together. Some things didn't go her way, but she was able to readjust, and she made a huge sacrifice of, just, exile me. So that was, but, she needed to leave, so, and she knew that. So, it was hard for her, but I did not expect the picture to be some little portal into something. That was really cool. And then like them getting together, I'm like, okay, so they're friends, and then it's like more happens.
I saw
it's like,
what she was wearing. I was like, nah, man, wherever she's going, she's about to go, and that's who she's getting it on with.
Yeah,
there's
well,
also
I just did.
There's a clue beforehand slightly, but for book readers, where Lan comes in and he says, why have you masked the bond?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because that's something to do if they're going to have, or else the other person feels what they feel, which is a bit embarrassing for them, kind
probably,
of thing. Because
yeah.
if you think about how close that bond is, and her and Lan aren't that way. So, yeah, there was a little bit of a clue there on that respect, but yeah, you'd only pick that up if you were a non-book reader. But yeah, were you quite shocked by that?
Yeah, for me, it was just like she's up to something, but she doesn't want to maybe get him in trouble, is what my first reaction of that whole, like, masking the bond thing.
You don't get dolled up wearing a large button down shirt like that, and
she's
and
going
just
to
go
bed.
to sleep.
I don't know.
You don't get dolled up to go to sleep. She was getting
Some
dolled
people
up
do.
to go smooching, and she did it, and good on them.
Well, I didn't see it coming until it started coming, and then I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, like, so, where was I at? Yeah, so the scene, like, her trying to catch up, and she's still trying to figure things out. Where am I? I don't even know.
They're talking in the room.
Yeah, so then after that, her being exiled and stuff, when I saw, them gather around and I saw Matt, I thought that Matt would be maybe the first to go. It was my first reaction. I'm like, he's always protecting his sisters, and after hearing this story, that's what he's gonna want to do, instead of them die a horrible death.
Yeah.
And then he stays behind, and I'm like, you know what? He's actually kind of a dick. So I guess it's not that surprising that he stayed behind. But, after what you'd said, that makes sense too. So yeah.
Yeah. But it's a bit of a bummer, isn't it? But, it's just kind of one of those things that we have to accept. It's a real world hitting on the story slightly,
It happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
As far as ratings go, I'd give it an A-, because I learned a lot with the politics, seeing how things were. like how prepared Moraine was, where it's like the girl that wears red, what was her name, the blonde lady, Leandrin. Yeah, she's like, I know what you've been up to. I've been, watching you. And then she's like, oh, well, I've got something on you. So you're going to shut your mouth.
You don't hate men as much as you claim
exactly.
to, do you?
I will let them know who your friend is.
Yeah.
What was it that Holden says in Chasing It? I'm not going to repeat that.
Okay.
all they need is a...
Yeah, no. Don't repeat that.
Go watch Chasing Amy. Great movie.
But yeah, so it was just interesting to see some of that. So I'd give it an A-.
Cool.
Because for me, I don't need a lot of action necessarily. I like things to be, like up and down, like a roller coaster, instead of it just being a high, constantly, where it's just always intense. Sometimes
I agree with that as
relaxing.
well. I'm as happy sometimes with a slower paced episode if the drama between the characters is there, and I felt that there was enough of that in spades this week. But before I get into my thoughts, I think we'll have a little word from our sponsors.
Sure thing. Grow Generation people talk, whoever's on the ad.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. The Grow Generation commercial team is armed with industry-leading professional consultants. Grow Generation's team will help you fully manage any size or scale project. They offer turnkey facility designs, cultivation room design, and on-site project consultation. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Thanks to our sponsors, Grow Generation there, where the pros go to grow. We're back on Wheel of Time. Episode 6 is what we're discussing here, and it's time for my, as a book reader's, thoughts on it. I always tend to start off with my grade and then explain why, and I went for an A grade, so slightly higher than Christine here, a little bit higher than Kyle. I think when I gave it this grade, someone actually who's also a book reader commented on my written review and said, I can't understand how you can possibly get it. So I tried to kind of explain my thoughts to this person as to where I come from. I think Brandon Sanderson, who finished the books off after the passing of Robert Jordan, had said this was his favourite script, and I kind of understand why, because again, it's taken what was context and off page sometimes in the books and putting it front and centre. My opinion was that reading the books, that it was a bit jarring going from everybody's running away from the bad guys, then they get to a certain point, meet up back together again, and then all decide to run towards the bad guys, right? Which is what you saw happen in this episode. Showing it from Moraine's point of view, to me, made that flow better than it did in the books, where we're kind of more focused on the young guys in the books, and it's just Moraine coming in and offering, our own thoughts at times. Being
the Gandalf sort of
yeah, in some ways, but even more taciturn and not explaining everything very well, because I don't think I think what's true at this point is Moraine doesn't have all the answers. She just doesn't. She's reacting. She's making decisions on the fly. She's keeping calm. She's trying to do whatever she thinks is the best situation, but she really doesn't know what the best thing is, other than she's convinced one of these people is the dragon, and she's convinced that person needs to go to this place that they're going to as well. And whether it means that could put the others at risk, that's kind of like greater good. I'm going with the greater good, and we get to see that come out, which isn't really there in the books. And that's what impresses me about, if an adaptation can take the same ideas and put them across in a way that you can watch as a show watcher, not have to have all that exposition and dialogue in people's heads. I love Aes Sedai politics. That's something that we are definitely going to get a lot more of as we go on, and I think it's
that Battlestar stuff that I like.
It's smart to say to viewers, this is going to be a part of this show. So if you're going to like this, you're going to like the show going forward. Whereas in the books, that stuff doesn't really start happening until book 2. Swan doesn't appear till book 2. similar ideas that happen, but she doesn't show up at that point. And to me, it gets us into that whole White Tower politics far quicker, which I feel is kind of impressive. I also love that they put Swan and Moraine together. And I actually find it quite funny, some of the kind of strange reactions some book readers had, because they were like, oh, I can't believe that they did this. And it's absolutely in the books. The prequel book, A New Spring, makes it very clear that these two were pillow friends. Now, pillow friends is, you share a room together, but you're a bit more than just pals, right?
Yeah.
To some point, sometimes two close women are assumed to be pillow friends by other people, and they may not be, but Moraine and Swan were. So there was a sexual relationship between those two. They've not been able to be together in the books, so that's similar. It's just almost like they've given us this little reunion scene and then gone to the point where we're basically not going to see each other again because it's too dangerous for that to happen. You're going to go off and do your thing, and I'm going to stay and do my thing. I thought Swan was fantastic. I thought the character was just really, really good. On one side being got to keep in control of everybody in the tower, and you can just tell that if she shows weakness, in certain or favoritism, she's on a shaky nail. She can't do that. She's got to play this game. It's not as if, it's not like a king where they can, if they don't like the people underneath them, they can just have them killed. And Amerlin can't do that, so the tower can come together and say, actually, we've lost confidence in you, we're getting rid of you, and we're going to put somebody else in that. And she's kind of having to teeter on the edge. And if people find out that she's been colluding with Moraine, that's big trouble for her as well as Moraine. Do you know what I mean? And she did say both of them could be stilled for that. So, serious. But what I love is that despite that they have this connection between each other, they also, both of them, are willing to put that aside for their goal, because their goal, and that is kind of blues for you as well a little bit, but their goal, their target is the most important thing to them. And, it's probably why the two of them went into blue in the first place. And they did briefly mention a prophecy or a foretelling or something like that, but we don't really get to see that. So I don't want to say too much about it in case they maybe bring that up in later episodes, or, a future season or something as a flashback. So I won't go into it too much, but at least that they did mention that the both of them were kind of witness to something, and that's what set them on the path as well. That's my thoughts behind why I really enjoyed it, because Aes Sedai politics, I just love it. Love the drama between and one thing I wanted to mention, actually, I don't know if you guys never said it, but Egwene and Nynaeve, when they go in to see the Amerlin seat, and the Amerlin says, "I hear you're the most powerful Channer in 1,000 years," and Egwene's like, "Oh, she's heard about me."
Yeah, she's thinking it's
Nynaeve Alvira, and then you see Egwene's face is just like, "What?"
Yeah,
I thought that was class. And that's just, that is Egwene, for me in some ways. Not that Egwene's not powerful, she is, but she's not as powerful as Nynaeve in terms of just raw power, So that's just not, they have different stories going forward.
And she just got started. They don't know anything really much about her, but it was funny to see her
reaction to it, and the way like the Amerlin just, they're ready to walk out, and Nynaeve's being all Nynaeve, I don't have to do it. Anybody tells me, nobody tells me what to do. I'm going to do I'm the boss here, and she just puts her finger up, and the two of them are like, okay, we'll just wait here a minute and finish listening to what you've got to say, and the way that she worded all the stuff she was telling them was absolutely, totally designed to convince them to do what they wanted to do. I mean, that was a con job almost, but at the same time, Aes Sedai never lie, and we see quite a lot of little examples of that where people say, "Wait a minute, did Moraine not lie there?" and things like that. And if you think back and you watch them closely, she did not. She never lies once. No. She says things maybe from a different point of view, but she never outright, tells a lie that she believes is a lie.
Look, slime ball, slime ball manipulators, defense attorneys and and blues and the Aes Sedai. I mean, they're trash. I should know. We can smell our own. So
hilarious.
You know, I can get just about anyone to do anything that I want them to do. But no. In reality, though, I like that aspect, and it makes the line of the big reveal that Siuan and Moraine are working together, makes that whole scene with the punishment even more intense, because you're like, she had to think of how to word her questioning so Moraine wouldn't spill the beans.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
so
there's
you're like, that thought
process
is
as well.
Exactly the thought processes that you have to get into. And I don't know if the books could ever show it the same way, if they even try to, but even on television, because I've been bitching a lot recently about how entertainment keeps going for the lowest hanging fruit, and how everything is nerfed, and it's just is as simple as it can be. This here didn't take us for granted as an audience. They literally lay out one layer, and then come on with the next layer and make you go, oh wait, shit, that shit on the first layer really fucking matters. And I appreciated that. And what's cool is, just to finish up with that thought, is not only is this a more mature show, but still even getting our first female nudity, if you will, which is some long distance shadowy side boob. This is still something that I think probably most, at least in the West, would be fine with their 12, 13-year-olds and
I don't
watching.
think it's really shifted above PG-13 at all.
It's a thinking
worse
show.
Than your average Marvel movie or Star Wars movie in terms of the violence and
and it's a thinking show, and it's something that's more. It's a good show if you're looking for something that's not cookie cutter and not reaching for the lowest hanging fruit,
or just something that you can just put on in the background.
Yeah,
and just
this isn't a background noise.
I mean, there's some people they watch a couple of episodes and just, I don't get it. No one gets this. It's too complicated. Give it time. Not every story has to be Hollywood, manufactured. Okay, here's what we need to do. Scene 1, let's establish the plot. Scene 2, boom, boom, boom. You don't have to do it like that. This was written as a book. It's a series that's going to potentially go across eight seasons if they get enough time to do it. Hopefully things at the moment look good. Season 2 has already been filmed, so that was always a goal. But in terms of the reaction that people have had, the popularity of it so far, the way people are talking about it, like us and podcasts, I've seen a load of other podcasts popping up. I think it does show good signs that it'll carry on, and we maybe get to some of the more key events in the overall story. I mean, I've got nothing more to really kind of say on it. Anyway, as always, I could talk for far longer, but it would get too spoilery. So I have to just kind of keep my words to a minimum where possible. So let's get into Theory Land, all right? And we're going to start off this week with our usual about who the dragon is, and I want to see if we can eliminate anybody at this point. So if you guys have thought of anyone that you can say 100% that person's not the dragon at this point, who would it be?
Probably Matt.
Yeah,
I always... Yeah, I never thought that it was him. It's just like, I'd be surprised if it was. So, like, to me, like, nah.
I think I said
it's about obvious now, yeah.
Yeah, I think I said originally that he would be like your like self-insertion choice. He's the kind of like Mashoko Tensai jobless reincarnation. He would be a Matt, right? And I was like, I don't want to see that. If I remember correctly, when I was somewhere in that range, like, yeah, that's like a low hanging fruit with Rand on the other side, the diamond in the rough type guy. But so yeah, I didn't really consider him. I was like hoping that wouldn't be, and then I said if they choose Rand, it would kind of potentially be like that, stereotypical move, which could still be good, but it would be interesting to see it someone else. Keep going. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I answered mine. You're.
Oh yeah. I mean, just
anyone else you want to rule out, basically.
I don't know. It seems like they want to keep, like you said in the book, it's not necessarily a mystery for very very long, but they definitely want to keep it somewhat of a mystery for the show, whether or not. I think it should be answered by the end of this season, but we'll see. The interesting part comes from Moraine and her conversation about the prophecies being translated and things being different in different places of the world that she's visited. So could it be multiple people? What powers could it take when what's her name is talking about Perrin's eyes changing? That like tips Moraine off really quick, because
don't tell anyone about that. Yeah.
Right, because she says something else key there is that the powers, we don't know all of them, how they could manifest. And so I think all of that's designed for people like me and Christine, never read the books, to keep us guessing amongst the four potential now. I
think we ruled out another one this week as well, though, just through the dialogue and through what we know about the dragon already, because this is something we've talked about in previous weeks. The one thing we know about the dragon, and we don't know very much, is that whoever this person or people are, it should be the most powerful channel ever, right? And yet we know that one character is clearly more powerful than another one this week. So does that not rule
being
out
as powerful as what's her name? Potentially, but like I said, they say, unless you're trying to lead us down a path, Cam, how dare you?
No, not a wrong path. I'm just trying to say stuff that's been in the show.
Again, she could have all of a sudden show some power that we haven't seen. We didn't see Perrin really do anything spectacular. Just some wolves followed him for a bit, and then all of a sudden his eyes change and he does something spectacular.
Just like learning, power grows.
I don't think it necessarily counts her out. I would say she's on that teetering edge, but that's only because we haven't seen her do anything really, and she hasn't had a moment with Perrin, but she hasn't had she didn't have a transformative moment there. She didn't transform anything. She just did shit she could already do. So like I said, that kind of makes her teetering on the edge. But again, looking at what Moraine said, seeing how they've presented us with information, I couldn't cut her out completely.
Gotcha.
But she would be the bottom ranking.
Yeah. So far.
So are you both still on Perrin as your top choice at the moment? Are you still there, Kyle?
I am, but I'm eyeballing Rand as again that like stereotypical, like, stay the fuck away, motherfucker. No, but like I said, it's only because I like seeing things done differently, but yeah, I'm kind of still stuck on him, because that one's we've seen Egwene and Nynaeve use the one power. We've seen them weave, so that they're expecting. Sure, Nynaeve did something spectacular, but now we got dude communicating with, potentially controlling, or at least, like I said, communicating with, and be, hey dude, go attack these people for me so I can escape, whether he did it consciously or not. That's a different type of power. We haven't seen something like that. But I will remind or remember, and you know what, this kind of goes back to the Matt character, and that is the dreams. Everyone has them, but we initially see it from Rand's point of view with the bats, right?
Well, I guess they could only choose one of them to do, though, couldn't they? Do you know what I mean? At that point,
right,
to be fair. Right. And then the second time we see a dream, it's Perrin's dream we see.
Yeah. So. And then you see a lot more of like visions and things with Matt, and Rand is there with it. So I I don't know. It's there, but I'm still on the team Perrin thing. And do I think it could be multiple people? Kind of.
Yeah, I was going to ask
thing?
That would be
that's
fun.
something that's come up this week. People are starting to wonder if it's multiple people.
I mean, I think I've thought about it, and I guess they build up this, hey, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but likely the dragon will be revealed over here battling with the Dark One, and those that aren't might die. So you think Matt's aside, so maybe he can't be it. I don't know. No, the idea of it being multiple people is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But
I've heard it called the Power Rangers theory, by the way, just to give it a name.
That's hilarious.
I like that. I'm not against it. I don't. I'd have to see how it landed. I don't want to vote for it because I kind of hope it's not true. Having power distributed can work and benefit a story in certain circumstances, but this feels like one where exploring the different aspects of having that burden via your friends and supporters would potentially be the more interesting thing. It builds potentials for like jealousy and super protective people over underprotective and split allegiance. It seems like it would be more, and then someone will yell and be like, oh, but imagine if the five don't unite to fight to get. Well, that would be a Power Rangers thing. They split up for a few books. I'm gonna go do my own thing. I mean, either one
like
get...
they could maybe come back together at times.
Yeah,
things like that.
And
I mean, it's one thing that we've already saw in the show that Aes Sedai can link together.
Yeah.
They haven't shown us whether men and women can link together yet, but we have saw women link together, and when they did, they were a lot more powerful than even Logain at the time. Because they had linked all their power. So that's like where one person's controlling, but they're drawing on the power from all. So let's say there's three of them there. So that one person would have all the power capable of the other two. So they could be more powerful, less powerful, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You've got that power, and you're the one that's given it and control. So there's things like that already exist within the kind of the mythology and stuff like that. Interesting. So if, let's say, as we think is going to happen, that over the next 2 episodes we get revealed who the dragon is, and at the moment it looks as if Moraine thinks they're heading towards wherever the Dark One is, and the dragon's going to do the thing and save the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how can that happen in season 1 of what's potentially going to be an 8-season show?
Yeah, like,
so what is going to happen?
I have a theory that it's like they show up and he's not there, kind of thing, where it's like he's moved on.
It's not the Dark One kind of thing. That's what you mean. Right, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
So I'm just under the impression that even if they run into the Dark One, who was supposedly locked up down there after the last dragon broke the world, am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they've said so far. Yep.
Yeah.
To their understanding, anyway. To their understanding, I would say.
I'm guessing that it's similar to a Sauron type deal, to where there's influence, but not necessarily the physical person is there. Might kind of be like the opposite, so to speak. So I do think that when they get there, they'll end up having some sort of did our son just... Oh, never mind. It should be okay.
Okay.
What was I gonna say? That when they get there, that instead of finding like some shambly old person to easily destroy, there might be an army already there, or an army on the way to defend. I don't think they end up killing the Dark One or anything like that. I'm fairly certain that they're going to get beat. I don't know if anyone dies. Potentially split.
Here's another kind of potential. Could the dragon turn bad? Is that? Do you think that's a possibility? Or
they always say it is, and that could be, where they do the by the way, it's these 4 out of the 5 or 3 out of 5 or even all 5 somehow some way, and you get split allegiances, and like I said, that's one way that it could go down. I'm not necessarily would want it to go that way, but everything depends on how it lands, right? I mean, even a bland plain story can be upped based on the way it's presented. Look at most of Marvel's movies. They're very cookie cutter, but we eat them up because chocolate chip cookies are delicious the first time you have them, and then this most recent time you have them, right? So that's what I kind of think is they'll end up being beaten, and we'll get some division, whether it's by, oh shit, everyone run, and they get lost in the different ways. I think that was what they were called.
The ways, yeah.
The ways. And maybe that's how we get some, more split stuff, but we already did a lot of splitting. It's kind of like, I don't know, there's only so many things you can do without repetitiveness, but there's certain things that kind of have to repeat, so that's what I think. He might be down there, but I don't think they beat him or win or anything like that.
I'm in a kind of funny position this week, whereas I think I've got a very good idea of what they're going to do the next 2 episodes, whereas I wasn't really sure where we were going, like this week, for example, because of the way they're kind of stretching and pulling things together. I've seen a couple of leaked images for next week as well that have appeared in it, and I won't tell you about them. All I'll say is...
I have not, thank goodness.
It looks good. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. It looks good. But I think, given what has to happen, the main beats that must happen, I think I can see how they're going to do the next 2 episodes. Who can say exactly what will be split between the 2 and how they'll finish it up? I can't say for certain on that. But yeah, I'm excited to see the inside of the ways next week, because we just kind of see them walking in there and then the kind of doorway shuts, and that's something where if somebody describes something in a book, you think that sounds cool, but you picture it and you've your own way. So I'm really excited to see how they're going to design that and talk about it. Presumably while they're inside, they're going to give a bit of history on what it is and how it works and stuff like that. So that does seem cool to me. What about Swan? Where's her story going now? She's away from the rest of the group. They've all gone off to do their thing. Do you think we're going to see more of her? Do you think she's going to go get more powerful, less powerful? Where can you see her trajectory going?
I think maybe a little more powerful. At least like with with the other colors they see, like that was a really harsh punishment. Okay, instead of there being like, a split allegiance.
Like cementing her a little bit.
Exactly. And I think she's still going to be working things on her end as far as like what's going on. I don't know if she'll have anything to do with Matt. But since he's behind and she's also there could be a possibility where
help
maybe she'll
explain the transition.
Yeah, and then
maybe, I don't know.
Make sure that he's not gonna do something stupid, like try to find that dagger.
Well, I was going to ask that as well. What do you think that's the last we see of the dagger, or do you think that will come back again, the whole cursed dagger thing?
I'm hoping that it gets destroyed, if that's even possible, or
have to take it back to get it destroyed.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely Matt's gonna try to find it, I think.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, just maybe there'll be a run-in with those two, or at least she'll keep her eye on him, like I said.
It's really hard to say exactly. Even as a book reader, you'd be hard pushed to work out what's going on here, because I'll say now that Matt doesn't get separated from the dagger until the beginning of book 3 in the books. So for the whole of the second book, he's still under the influence of the dagger because they decide it needs multiple Aes Sedai to help him, and they need to get him back to the tower, right? So they've obviously, and I think that's a good thing that they've cut that early, because Matt's a bit of a prick while he's under the influence of the dagger, quite frankly. And the Matt that comes out the other end is far more fun and enjoyable a character to kind of explore and be around. So I think they've made a smart choice to get to that version of Matt quicker than wait until season 3 when people might have already said, I hate this guy, you know, at that point.
Are you certain that's gonna be the way it is? Because what if he goes back and gets under the dagger's influence
exactly,
again?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot say
the withdrawal thing I'm talking about.
My instinct would be that would be daft, you know, to do that. It just wouldn't make sense to do it for a variety of different reasons that I won't go into. But yeah, I guess you never know in adaptation.
No, exactly. They might
we don't
have
know what
something
their original
planned.
plan was, you know, maybe before the whole COVID thing hit. What was their original plan going to be? Was Maureen going to do that to Matt, or were they going to say, oh, we don't have time for this, and have Matt go still under the influence of the dagger? They could have shot that little, they could have did some special effects on that scene and, you know, and changed it to have her remove the dagger from him, whereas originally she couldn't, or something like that. They could have changed a lot of little things round about. So yeah, you're right. It's difficult to see exactly what their intentions were going to be.
Thinking of, you know, places you might need some more exposition or something like that, and sure, and you maybe want to help transition. Not that it would happen in these next 2 episodes, but maybe some of the early season 2 episodes. Siuan and Matt having to deal with Matt getting the dagger back or whatnot in the city. You know, they're near the White Tower, and there you could, in the first couple seasons, explain and reintroduce the Matt character, get some exposition, and maybe that's kind of what they'll do with that. And like I said, potentially he gets it and holds on to it to give you some of that character development through book 2, season 2. But who knows?
Yeah, because it's going to be hard to get rid of. You know, because the amount of people that know what's going on are very limited, and it's not like Siuan can just go take it and drop it in a volcano. People are going to be wondering, like, where'd you go? You know, it's like
somebody would have had to explain what it is. Actually, if Lan just, this is one of the book theories book fans have been sort of theorizing, if Lan just left it there on the ground and like anybody could pick it up, and that could cause some real mayhem, couldn't it? If they said, I just start passing that around and you're like going, hey, what's this? Don't know, let me see it, you know.
Oh yeah.
But so I guess maybe they'll explain that later on or something.
Give me the sweet dagger.
Well, I saw that you never know whether if they're going to introduce it later on, they maybe do a flashback to what happened to it at the time or something. There's loads of little things they could do like that. You can never quite predict how they're going to do it, I think. Yeah. All right, last thing, and then we're going to wrap it up, guys. Baddies. We're not seeing a lot of baddies at the moment. When are we going to get to see the bad guys, do you think?
Well, haven't we seen the bad guys? I mean,
yeah, but we've seen them a little bit.
We've just seen some.
Well,
shifty...
are the Aes Sedai?
I'm just joking.
Are some of the Aes Sedai bad, or are they the bad guys? Are they an antagonistic force? Are they a force for help? What,
ambiguous.
Ambiguous.
I don't know, because to me, it's still like, you know, they're Aes Sedai, so they should have each other's backs to some point. But yeah, they're kind of, you know, they do shitty things to each other, but I don't think it's going to be anything huge. But there could be maybe a few that are what did you call him in the episode with the bar wench? What was her name again? Like, you know,
a dark friend.
Yeah, that's it.
You're talking about.
Friend.
Yeah, so
right?
you know,
so you
maybe...
think it's possible for Aes Sedai, although be tricky when they've took those oaths as well, you know, that they can't lie and stuff like that. Might be difficult for a dark friend, but you know.
Yeah, but you know, with someone who, because like like Moraine, she's always gone. Maybe there might be someone.
That's a good point.
And then also, like, it's probably not talked about, so it could be easy to hide if they were gonna go that route, because it's like, you know, you don't go up to someone and say, "Are you a dark friend?" You know, no one does that. You know, I doubt that they do any kind of like interrogation of each other. So, you know, maybe something, because you know, how often is that brought up?
Yeah, I get it. I'm just thinking we've seen some sort of, sorry, but just before you jump in to kind of help, I was just thinking we've seen these what you would call troops, Trollocs, right? We've seen Trollocs and we've seen Fades, but you know, there's been no identity yet to attach to the bad guys other than these
weird
monstrous
red eye thing in the
things.
dream.
Yeah. So maybe the end of the season we'll see something.
I guess what I'm getting at is, do you guys feel the need to see that, or are you okay at the moment knowing there's a mysterious threat somewhere?
There's a dark force out there that taps into the dark side of the one power, it seems, or a corrupted version of it. I'm guessing not necessarily completely separate power, but you got that, and you don't. I mean, you Sauron's an eyeball, and that's fine for everyone. So we don't need a physical embodiment yet. At some point, sure, but right now, nah, we're fine.
Yeah, I like where we're going.
Okay,
but we'll see if we see them in the end. Like I said, you might get down there and find the former shell of what the Dark One was entombed in earlier, but they've been broken free. There might be an army down there.
Gotcha.
It might be a disembodied version of the Dark One, and it might be that similar looking to that red-eyed thing that we see in the dreams. Maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, you know, the kind of thoughts that you guys have got, you know, certainly about this side of things is certainly where my thoughts were going as a book reader, going through that the first time. And you know, imagine, obviously, as I said, the dragon and the identity of the dragon was a bit more up front in the book, so that wasn't really a mystery. But I didn't have a sense of where all this was going. It seemed to be leading up to as if there was going to be an end point at the end of this first book, you know, almost, and that didn't really make sense to me. I thought we seem to have not explored enough yet, and that's why, you know, it wasn't really till book 2 that I realised, they're going to this story is far more open than what I kind of realised that it was going to be. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for your thoughts this week, both Christine and Kyle. We will obviously be back next week for episode 7 of The Wheel of Time, the penultimate episode. I'm kind of excited for these last 2. I think they're going to be quite dramatic, and I think we're kind of focused on our main cast being together again, you know, which is probably a good sign. So yeah, I'm absolutely excited to watch them, and then to hear what you guys think, obviously, when we do the next episode of the Dragon Reviewed as well. Anything else you guys want to say at the end?
Just throw out, hey guys, thanks for watching or listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, do subscribe. Even though we will be starting Genreverse's own YouTube channel, don't want to miss out on all the great celebrity interviews and the podcast until that show gets that channel gets up and running. So do hit subscribe. The podcast network should not change whatsoever. So follow us on whatever app you're listening to right now. Lots of great shows like Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast. They just covered Hellbound last Friday, among some other things. The Animeverse Reviews podcast, and doing Mieruko-chan. And then, of course, the Daily Cup of Genre, the Cantina, our Star Wars news show, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem reviews, all Marvel stuff. So yeah, check all that out. LRMonline.com, Genreverse.com, and I'm at that.com alone on Twitter. Done.
Anything from you, Christine?
You can find me on Twitter at Adorable Doom, and that's all I got. I can say again, No Mercy podcast will be coming at the beginning of the year. December 31st is when the 4th season of Cobra Kai hits. So we'll be starting
And is
that up
it,
again.
because I've never watched the show, so I've never watched your show either, because I do intend to watch them at some point. So I've never watched No Mercy. So I don't know. So is it like this kind of thing where you just review each episode kind of thing? Yeah.
Well, chunks, because it's Netflix dump, so they dump the whole season.
Oh, they do the
once.
whole season.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk to Manny, the other host of it, and look at either doing 3 episodes of 4, or if it's 12 episodes again,
Gotcha.
or like 4 episodes of 3. So we'll do them in chunks.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, you can get me at LRM_Cam on Twitter as well. And please leave us any comments either on the website, send us a comment on Twitter, or on the YouTube video as well. If you get any comments on this video, things that you would like to see us do. I never asked our "Where's the season going?" question this week, because I think it's still just going to be the same as last week. So I don't feel, maybe next week we can get back into that again and ask that. But anything you want us to cover more of, less of on this show, please let us know, because at the end of the day, we have fun doing this, but we kind of do it so that people will have fun watching it as well. Thanks very much if you watched this week. Bye.